It's the morning of March 28th, 2018. Calvin Castine at Clinton County Historical Association Museum. I get all the right words in there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Judy's on the camera, and we're here with somebody we've talked to for, I don't know, a dozen, 15, how many years now,
yeah.
Julie Dowd, have
Yeah,
you've
probably
been talking on
15 years.
Hometown
Yeah,
Cable?
yeah.
First got involved with her through the genealogy group, and I think you're still part of the North American, but probably not as active as you were. North
Oh,
American.
no, I'm still on the board. We're going to Montreal in a couple of weeks for a convention up there.
Oh.
Yeah.
So that's good. That's what it's all about,
Oh,
because it's
yeah.
the North American and American Canadian.
Oh, yeah, you betcha. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, what kind of a convention is that?
It's the, it's kind of like the English-speaking version of a genealogical society in Quebec, and they're holding it at McGill University like they do every 4 years.
Oh, so are French people like myself, who doesn't
Oh,
speak
no.
a word of
Oh,
French,
no.
allowed to go?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes, everybody's allowed to go. We have
As long as
some,
they speak English?
oh, yeah, we
You
met
check them at the
some,
door?
yeah, we met some lovely people at the last convention, and the lady could hardly speak English, but she had relatives who came down and lived in the French Quarter, and all got baptized and married and everything at St. Peter's, so strange, yeah.
Yeah, sometimes they went back and forth
Yeah.
and went down to Louisiana and came back up here.
Yeah,
and all
oh,
kinds
yeah,
of-
oh, yeah.
But who
great.
knows that better than you?
Oh, yeah.
How many people
I'm
have you
keeping
traced?
track of these people. I've got 160,000 people in my database, yeah.
Is that all?
Yeah, well, I try.
Thanks to Julie, we know a lot more. Judy and I know a lot more about our predecessors than we would have otherwise.
Oh,
so we
yeah,
appreciate that.
yeah,
you know.
you're related to Pierre Elliott Trudeau.
Yes,
yeah.
even his son.
And his
Justin.
son, yeah.
And then somewhere along the line, you found out we're related to Hillary too. So
Oh, yes, oh, yes.
their family went
With
through
their
the-
French connection, yeah.
Yeah. So no Republicans in my
don't
ancestry
know.
here. Just all Democrats. All these liberal people. I mean, that's fine for people like Jerry Favreau over there.
Oh, yeah. I don't know, I don't get into the political side that much.
You
Yeah,
just
no.
follow. You don't care.
Yeah, I follow the lines, yeah.
You don't care if they were a horse thief or whatever.
No,
you just
no, it's an interesting story no matter what, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I've been not every day, but I have to admit I don't check every day. But once, a couple times a week, I'm on that World Wide Web on
Yeah.
Facebook. I see the Clinton County Historical Association Facebook page post about something that happened today's date or whatever,
Yeah.
and I assumed that you were the culprit behind that. And
Yeah,
I
a
guess
lot
I'm
of times
right.
I am, yeah.
You're not
yeah.
the only one. There's
No,
others?
no, Jerry put on a couple
Did
today.
she?
Yeah.
Did she? Okay,
Yeah.
she did that 1935, whatever it was, pipe.
No, no, I
Oh.
did that one,
Oh.
but Jerry posted about Joe Congolosi, who got burned in that fire a couple of years ago. He
Oh.
used to be a board
Oh,
member
okay.
here.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's not ancient history, though.
No, it is. Well, it's getting there, though.
I'm
Yeah.
looking for ancient history, like
Oh, yeah.
1935.
Whoa, before you were born. Before I was born, even, yeah.
Oh, wow. Even before Jerry was born.
Oh, she's younger than I am.
So we're going to get into that and
Yeah.
let people know that through the magic of the internet, you can access a lot of what you need to know about the area and so on through that Facebook page.
Oh, yeah.
It's a, you
People
can,
love it,
yeah,
yeah.
you haven't got to hop in your cars. Of course, you want people to come here and visit
Yeah.
the museum. But this is a way for people to find out local history without leaving their comfort of their bedroom or living room
Exactly,
or wherever
yeah.
they happen to be. So we want to get into that. What room are we in right now, by the way?
Right now, we're in what is known as the South Gallery. Right now, we have a industry of Clinton County in here, and including the Redford glass and logging and farming and shoemaking, all kinds of things in here. Yep.
Oh, okay. So maybe we'll have to come back and do a little story on that. Sometime in the next 15 years, we're supposed to do a story on Cherubusco, so...
Yeah, well, it's downstairs waiting for you right now.
Waiting for me.
Yeah, and Diane Legree, if you're looking, we're waiting for you.
Come on down.
Yeah,
Get the snow shovel out
yeah,
and shovel your way out. So
yeah.
I guess without much further ado, we can get in there and hopefully we'll find an angle where Judy can shoot over our shoulders and look at these pages, and you can
Sure.
tell us and let people out there have a sample of what they can find when they go to that What's the official name of the Facebook page
Clinton County Historical Association
on Facebook?
on Facebook. We also have a couple of other pages. One is about the Civil War soldiers of Clinton County. We had over 5,000 enlist in Clinton County. They weren't all from Clinton County, but enlisted in Clinton County. And we have a Facebook page for them called Clinton County Civil War Record 1861 to
It
1865.
just falls right off your list.
It does, and we have another one. We recently put it on to promote the Old Base Museum campus.
Okay.
We have 5 museums and 2 breweries, I guess you'd call them, right within a couple of 100 feet of each other. So it's a nice destination to come to.
You know, it's amazing that after Jerry got so involved that suddenly 2 breweries show up right next door. You know, just incredible.
Yeah.
Is that a coincidence?
Just saying, yeah.
All right,
No,
before
yeah, it's wonderful. I mean, the Old Stone Barracks have come really back to life, and the fire station with the Oval Brewing Company, maybe it is. It's wonderful. People come and they walk around the campus, and you know, it's a real draw.
Yeah, and they let people know that.
And they can eat and drink and refresh themselves. Yeah.
Oh, okay, so.
And stay.
And stay, yeah.
And look around.
There's 7 rooms at the Old Stone Barracks.
Oh, that's right. They can
Yeah, good bed and breakfast.
lodging there.
Yeah,
Okay,
mhm.
all right. That was a free plug. So,
You betcha.
all right, let's get going. Okay, we're ready. It only took us 15 minutes to get set up here, but high tech. This is hometown cable. This is high tech. We don't settle for anything less than the highest tech. And what are we looking at here, Julie?
We're looking at the home page or the signature page of the Clinton County Historical Association Facebook page. Yeah,
This is Our County, Our History, Our Museum.
exactly.
So this is put on, done by people in the association. I know Jerry Fabro is the president.
Yes,
You do have an office outside?
I'm a trustee. Yeah, I'm
trustworthy
on the board.
trustee?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I am a trustworthy trustee. Yeah.
So who's the administrators of the?
We all have administrative rights. Myself, Jerry Favreau as president, Helen Nurska as the director of the museum, and I don't know who else has. Oh, Roger Black, he does
Okay.
our glass plate negatives.
Oh, yeah.
And then Bernie Bassett is on a couple of the pages here because he's head of our communications committee.
Okay. So the posts that go in there can come from any of you, but the majority
It's
maybe from you?
Mostly from me, or sometimes directed by Helen, please put this on, or by Jerry. A lot of times we advertise our what we have in our museum shop on there, or events that we're going to have. And so it goes out. I think we've got 2,500 plus people that are part of our Facebook community. Yep.
Okay. So my main concern today is looking at those photos because there's so much history. How long have you been doing that?
Probably maybe 4 years now. Yeah, yeah.
Every day or how often?
Sometimes it's every day. Sometimes we're gone someplace, and like we were the other day, we went to Ogdensburg. I didn't get a chance to put anything on that day, but the next morning we put on about Ogdensburg. Yeah.
You got to plan ahead.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
should have a waiting list of things to.
Like I have enough time to do all that. Yeah, yeah. I did manage to put 2 on this morning, one for this page and one for the Old Base Museum campus.
Okay, so I did see the one pop up. So if people like the page, is that how they?
They can like the page.
They can follow
Or-
it too. I don't know
yes,
about. I don't know
yes.
anything about following. I don't
Yeah.
understand all that fancy stuff.
I know. And you can like the page or just like the post.
Okay, yeah, but if you like the page, then it'll pop up on your.
Yes, it'll pop up on your feed.
Yeah.
If you like the post, you can go into, as an administrator, you can go into the list of names that like the post and invite them to become followers if they already aren't.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah, that's done every day too.
So you go through the same names over and over and over,
Yeah,
looking for a new name.
Yeah, when you look for a new name, you go, oh, gotcha. Yeah.
But they're not going to be making robocalls to their house or anything like that.
No. Our most recent popular post was on the Fourth Ward Bar on St. Patrick's Day. And we had over 7,000 people that liked it.
7,000?
Yeah. No comment.
No. I did make a comment on there.
You
that,
did, yes.
That when I used to tape on a regular basis at the Seton Catholic Brother Raymond Field, Seton's now using that field again, I guess, as a soccer field, but
Yeah.
for many years it was the place, the only place with lights. And somehow there was an opening in the fence there that people were able to leave at halftime or arrive at any given time. It took you right to the Fourth Ward Bar. So I was busy working, so I never bothered. But I hear the stories when
now
they came back.
Now there's a road that goes right to the parking lot from Montcalm Street. Yeah.
Yeah. So they were able to leave the soccer field and go visit the Fourth Ward to catch up on the latest news, I assume, and then come back for the second half of the ball game.
Yes.
All right, so let's get into the pictures now. You're gonna maneuver this so that we can look at. We'll start with today's probably. And we're not going to look at every one. We'll get a glance of one, and we'll skip across. We'll start with this one, which is a camp photo. That's not okay. This is not today. Like I saw one that was posted today of what happened today.
You'd like to go back to that one?
Oh, just to give an example.
Sure.
'Cause we jumped right away to August 16th. So,
yeah.
So if you we're gonna go down.
I will get there.
She's doing this without a mouse, so.
Yeah. Oh,
you just went too high.
just went too high.
Yeah, too far down.
Yeah. Oops, it is.
Yeah, I never operate without a mouse.
You don't?
No. You're not a mouse person?
I'm not a mouse person. I sit in my chair at home, so there's no room for a mouse.
Oh, no room for a mouse.
No room for a mouse.
So we click on this one, and it says March 28th, which is today's date. This was 1935, so that's 83 years ago. According to the Daily Press, CCC worker discovers Indian pipe, and I assume that's not a water pipe, it's a smoking pipe. While digging at the beach. This was the beach that's on the Cumberland Bay State Park.
Right.
Now, how would you come up with this? Do you search the papers date by date?
Yeah, the Northern New York Library Network is set up so that you can search by county, then by newspaper, and then by date. So, you know, if there's nothing going on at the museum or we don't want to advertise books today, you know, this is one of the options that we have.
So you go down there, you search. That historical newspaper site is what a blessing. If people don't know how to access that, contact the museum here and they'll tell you how to do it.
Yeah.
It's just what a resource. What a resource. You can type.
Great use of our tax dollars right there. Yeah, true.
Don't tap the table with that microphone on it.
Sorry.
All you viewers out there, that was Julie Dowd
Yeah.
who
Yeah.
made that loud noise. Yes, I don't know if it was tax dollars or whatever that paid for it, but it's a great asset,
Yeah.
and it's all Northern New
It's
York
free.
papers, and it's
Yeah.
free. You just
I
go there.
actually had a person in at the museum the other day who did not know about it.
Imagine that.
Oh, I couldn't believe it, you know, so I sat him right down and we went through the whole thing.
And it's so easy to access. I send family members, articles and stuff. I'll search for a family member or something, but they can't figure out how to go up there and hit the search button and type in two words, and it'll search.
Oh,
how you do.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
We use it for all of our web pages,
Yeah.
or all of our Facebook pages.
And once you're on one of those newspapers, you can go, as you said, page by page or
Yeah.
issue by issue, and
Yeah.
so it's just an amazing
Fantastic.
resource.
Absolutely fantastic.
But this is the type of thing that you can see on a daily basis. It may not be something that's pertinent to today, but it's something that, in this case, it is.
Yeah.
Because you're not able to do that every day, obviously.
Well,
you have
you
a life.
could. Yeah,
you could. Yeah, I know you could. I'm saying,
yeah,
but you
but
aren't.
like you said, I have a life, and I do go on vacation and stuff. Yeah.
Okay, so.
Sick grandchildren.
Yeah, that's right. We all know. Judy and I know about sitting grandchildren.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to
Next.
another one. that was your sharing the 118th. You were telling me off camera that took a trip down to Augsburg, was it?
We went to the Ogdensburg Public Library. Absolutely gorgeous library within a couple of 100 feet of the St. Lawrence River, and the librarian was telling us that in the summertime when the 700-foot ocean-going vessels go by, it takes 2 or 3 minutes for one to go by, you know, because they're so big. Yeah, but anyway, we talked with Pete Gilbert. He's the captain of the 118th Volunteer Reenactment Group, and we invited him to come here and go right on the oval in front of the, not the oval, the parade ground in front of the Old Stone Barracks. That's where they mustered first.
Okay, so that was in the
1862. Yep.
In August of 1862.
Yeah.
So
This flag right here, the new group had one made for, it was $1,300. The original, carried by Joe Hastings, who was 6'6", and was only injured slightly during the whole war, is in the New York State Military Museum in Saratoga Springs.
okay, so the 118th was out of Augsburg, but they mustered here. Is that what you're saying?
No, they were recruited in Clinton, Essex, and Warren counties,
Okay.
but they mustered here, got on a steamship, went up the lake, and to Whitehall.
Went down the lake.
Up, no, isn't it up the lake?
Well, I go south. I'm going
Oh,
down.
well,
I know it flows.
I'm going flow-wise, okay?
Okay.
So they went up the lake to Whitehall and got on trains, and some of them were very angry that they thought they were going to be sitting in passenger cars like the officers, but they put them in box cars. So what they
Wow.
did was they banged holes in the side of the wooden box cars so that they could see out. And the Army was billed for the damage to the boxcars a little later on. Yeah.
So how come the museums, the reenactors are coming out of Augsburg?
The group is formed there because Pete lives in Tupper Lake, but I guess they muster in Ogdensburg. And we were invited out there because he was giving a round table, a talk, and we volunteered that we had a bunch of stuff from the 118th. Maybe they would like to see it. So what we have here is a muster roll from Captain Bailey's Company H. Unbelievable. It's over 3 feet wide and over 2 feet tall, and it's got all the names and that beautiful writing of all the people who were in his company.
Now, is this an original?
This is an original. It's
Wow.
sitting in our document room here.
You've got it here.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
We also brought this picture in the back is Charles Luther Hager. He was the chaplain of the 118th for the whole time it was in existence. We also brought Chaplain Hager's photograph album, in which he collected photographs of the officers in the unit. And what else did we bring? Oh, various odds and ends of discharge paper from Private Bidwell. And we brought our book, of course, to show people. Yeah, it was a very interesting afternoon.
So will these reenactors might come here then sometime in the future?
Well, we invited them. They go all over to
what better
reenactments.
place? What better place than where they started, right?
I thought so. I thought, well, we'll be the first to invite them here. Yeah.
All right. So all that information wouldn't have been on the Facebook page, but you should have an access to a little bit about it. Okay.
We've got a link to their web page so that people around here can join. Some people have already joined. This is the actual muster roll.
Okay. That won't show up too good on the
Yeah,
TV. So
no.
let's move right along. We don't need that. It's one of the things that's coming up. Say the date, July 15th.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's the.
That's the one you were talking about.
Yeah. Well, Well, this is the soccer field. This
Right.
lady claims that it was once the home of St. Peter's College, huh?
Yeah.
And
there you are.
And there's my. You probably have this here somewhere too.
That's Uville, yes.
And there's the. I don't know if Judy can't see
By
that
the
at all.
Grey Nuns across the street, yeah.
The Uville Academy, the
Yeah.
St. Peter's Church, and
Yeah.
on the soccer field on this postcard from, I think it's a 19-something year postcard. There's a picture of St. Peter's College. So
Yeah.
I think, although I had this in my collection, I really wasn't that tuned in to the idea that there was a St. Peter's College.
Yeah.
I thought St. Peter's had a school for the girls as opposed to MAI being a boarding school for the boys.
This apparently started as boys.
But it was a college, not a high school.
No, it was. It went right the way up through, apparently. If you read the comments afterwards, people were going in and saying, oh, I went there when I was in such and such a grade.
Okay.
But it only went from 1907 to the early 1950s when it was taken down. And the school across the street, the
Right.
St. Peter's
Or-
School across the street went in.
Or Seton Academy. is now.
Right. So I just put it up because I thought it was a lovely building. It's a shame that it's no longer there. I suppose they couldn't afford to keep it up.
Yes, but they put good use to that field though.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of soccer games and
Yeah, it's
baseball.
wonderful.
Baseball field was there too. They
Yeah.
played football there. They back when MAI was there, then when Seton was first there, they put it to good
Yeah,
use.
yeah.
So that's,
But in a lot of postcards, you can see this behind the church.
yeah, and I have that.
Yeah, or
so-
behind Duville Academy. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a piece of history that many people have forgotten or never
Yeah,
knew that
yeah.
there was a Saint. But it was a school, not a. Although it's called a college, it's not a college.
Collège in French is like an all-inclusive school, like a high school. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
so it wasn't
yeah.
after graduation. It wasn't a
Yeah.
postgraduate.
No,
it wasn't.
no.
Okay, so. Okay,
But
so
we
that
have pictures of classes from the school, and they're all lined up on the steps here, and the Brothers of Christian Instruction are with them, and yeah, it's really interesting.
So was it just girls then?
This is boys.
Boys and girls?
Duville was girls.
Okay,
Yep. Yep.
so
I don't know when St. John's came into the picture. Was that 1940s, 50s?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna hazard a guess.
I don't know. But I suppose, like you said, they went there afterward. Yeah.
Well-
The little kids must have been across the street here, and the high schoolers went to St. John's.
Well, MAI became, if you weren't a boy, then MAI became a co-ed for
Yeah.
the latter years, and then,
Yeah.
but for a long time, you had to be a boy to go to MAI, Mount
Yeah.
Assumption Institute.
Yeah.
Okay, moving right along,
Oh,
and we're not even gonna look at every one if you
no,
think one
this
is
was the
particularly
Pledge of
interesting.
Allegiance, how it changed during the
Oh,
war. During the
yeah,
war
this
years,
was-
they
this was
decided
interesting.
that they didn't want to have people put their hands up like the Hitler salute.
Like, yeah,
And
from
so,
Nazi salute, yeah.
not the VFW, the VFW in Champlain received instruction that this is how it should be done from now on. that
American Legion, Montgomery Post,
Legion, yeah.
American Legion of Rouse's Point.
Yeah, your hand should be on your heart rather than up.
This is in 1943.
Yeah, that's
So this is-
amazing to me.
Yeah, this is something that I was completely unaware of, before I was born, and
Yeah,
that they would do the Heil Hitler type of salute
Yeah.
with the Nazis for the flag.
yeah,
So they changed that,
yeah.
and now that's put your hand over your heart when you do the pledge, and that was as recent as
But
1943.
yeah, you can see kids, this is 1935 picture with their hands up like a Nazi salute.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
There we go. There's your favorite bar.
yeah. I've never been in there either.
No, I haven't.
Yeah,
So what made you decide to
well,
highlight a bar?
well, it was St. Patrick's Day, of course.
What's that got to do? Is that an Irish thing?
No, I don't know. I think they accept all denominations. They're Irish and French and whatever. But this picture came up. I have probably 20,000 pictures on my computer from CCHA that we can use. So every once in a while I troll one.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a friend, maybe I should not mention her name, who used to go there on St. Patrick's Day and had a great time. I think Melissa Peck's parents also helped out a lot at the 4th Ward. And Melissa was our former director here. And she said the place was always jumping in on St. Patrick's Day. In fact, sometimes they'd even recruit her to help out because it was so
Wow.
busy. Yeah. So it was just a then and now picture, which people also seem to like, you know, and there's the steeple of the church, St. Peter's Church in the background.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Just to keep things in perspective.
Well, yes, you have to.
So I assume it's still open. Again, I've never been in it. So
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I hope they had a good St. Patrick's Day. Yeah. But it hasn't really changed much over the years,
No,
has it?
No reason to.
No.
All right.
They got new condos, pharmacy next door, but oh, this has been a real problem for us. Not a problem, but it's like an investigation that we'd like to solve. This is a Withering Hotel token,
Uh-huh.
and we talked to Sue Howell Hamlin,
Right, who wrote the book?
who wrote the book and who actually grew up at the Withering because her parents owned it. And she has asked people who worked at the hotel and her sisters and relatives what this token was for. And somebody suggested that it was a token that they used so you could jump on a trolley, you know?
That'd be my
Or,
guess.
yeah, or it was a token that you could use for a drink down in the Fife and Drum or something like that. So we haven't got a definitive answer yet.
Yeah, because that token probably hadn't been used in 100 years, so.
There's tokens from, let me see, there are tokens from the trolley company, and
Yeah.
there's tokens from the NCO club here years ago that are just exactly the same, stamped the same way and everything, so maybe it was all part of that thing, I don't know. You never know, it's
No.
fun for people to think about it and try to find out.
Maybe
Snow days were closed.
All right, this was another one I saw, the 1939 maneuvers. It's another one I made a comment on, I think.
Yeah, we
In
have,
fact, we did a nice story with Nap Light
right,
regarding Gordy and I went over to the other museum down here, the 1812 museum.
Yeah.
And did a story with Nap Light about the 1839 maneuvers. So it's just another piece of history that, although it's relatively recent, most people are completely unaware of.
yeah, yeah. We had 52,000 men
Mm-hmm.
wandering around the streets of Plattsburgh.
Notice-
52,000.
Notice you said men. It
Yeah.
is-
Oh, yeah, no, not, I don't know how many
Didn't say
women
people.
came just to meet the men, but yeah. But I forget what his name is, from Cadyville. He gave us these pictures, and he has a Cadyville Facebook page, and we have a lot of information on the 1939 maneuvers, including this map and another huge map, and also documents showing where they encamped all the way around. So they went north, came back around, and then came back to Plattsburgh. 12 people got killed in that.
In the maneuvers.
Yeah.
I assume not locals.
They were from, I think, a medical unit out of Massachusetts. Yes, they all went under a tree. 3 men got killed. I'm kidding. 12 got injured.
You're kidding.
Yeah,
You're mistaken.
yeah, I'm mistaken. And so they went under a tree in Cadyville to hide from the lightning storm, and the lightning hit the tree.
Yeah, that's one of the first things I learned was, you know.
Yeah, you don't, especially when you got a cannon and you're carrying a gun.
Yeah.
That'll do it
Yeah.
every time. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, that's a very interesting part of our history here.
Yeah, this was, you know, people just tend to forget, and I'm kind of disappointed with that we didn't do more about the Plattsburgh idea when it was 100 years ago, you know, in 2015, 2016, 2017. I think we should have done more emphasis on what that Plattsburgh idea was, how they prepared for World War I by training here at the Plattsburgh Barracks.
Oh, yeah.
And this is kind of the idea, you know, and this is only, 39 is only 20 some odd years later,
Yeah.
So Plattsburgh is still very much on their minds
Oh,
as,
yeah.
as the training place.
Yeah.
But they did this in many areas.
Yeah.
This, this is one of them. But
Yeah, in the book that Rich Frost did just recently, he was amazed that they had training camps all the way up through until the U.S. entered the war. Yeah, so, yeah.
so this was a precursor to World War II,
Yeah.
and this was, as Julie said, 52,000 soldiers arrived here and trained. Of course, also around that same era, the Camp McDonough was here. The Navy was training on Lake Champlain.
Yeah.
So we forget that long before Plattsburgh Air Force Base was here, this was
Yeah,
a
Camp
very-
McDonough was set up to train returning Navy people so that, well, military people, so that they could reintegrate into civilian life. It was only here for a few years, which is too bad.
yeah, and of course, then Champlain College came here, and it was kind of at its end. The kind of Champlain College in Plattsburgh was set up for people coming out of the military,
Right.
and it was kind of it was kind of interesting. It was kind of dwindling because you didn't have that big influx of people coming out of World War II and the Korean War. So by the time it was time for the air base, that was what helped get
Yeah.
the air base here.
Yeah.
And the fact that
Very definitely.
yeah.
Yeah, we were at, where were we? Anyway, that's another story. Go ahead. Next.
Next.
This is another then and now picture that people seem to like. This is the Brass Rail Restaurant that was on Margaret Street across from the Government Center and is now a TD Bank.
Oh, okay.
It looks almost the same, doesn't it?
1936 picture.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we have hundreds of pictures of local restaurants and bars because we must have inherited something from the county when they wanted to get rid of some pictures.
Yes, Ken Ray sat down with us and went through it. So we got, you again, ended up with all these, where the liquor authorities would come
Yes,
through and take
yes.
photos, and we went through, I think we did at least 7 episodes, Gordy sitting there with Ken Ray,
Yeah,
looking through the photo
Oh,
collection.
yeah,
It's just
wonderful.
a fascinating series,
Yeah.
and it's just,
yeah,
it's one of the great photo collection stories that Hometown Cable's been able to do.
yeah.
I put it on the scale of what we did with Ron Venn and his before
Oh.
and after, before and now
Yeah,
photos. So it's just
yeah,
so if there was a drinking establishment in Clinton County up until probably into the 60s or 70s,
Yeah.
chances are you've got a photo of
Yeah.
it here, right here in
yeah.
this
And the
museum.
historic river run to Saranac. Ho, ho, ho. Yeah.
They'd run one way and crawl back.
Here's another one. This is people walking down or soldiers walking down U.S. Avenue. And here's U.S. Avenue today. But the pine trees in the cemetery, I think, are probably the same pine trees.
Okay, yeah, it's a before and now, but it's different. It's further back.
Yeah. This man, Noel Stewart, is getting together a collection of World War I soldiers, similar to what we did with Civil War soldiers.
Oh, okay.
So if you've got any lists like like honor rolls up on church walls or school walls, if you have anything like that, contact him because he's collecting names. We won't have 5,000 like we did with the Civil War soldiers, but what amazed me was there were
That's,
only 399 draftees
Really?
called for from Plattsburgh. Not all went, of course, but more people volunteered than were actually drafted. Yeah.
Okay, this was Noel
Noel Stewart.
Stewart.
He lives in Peru, but you can get a hold of him here. I think his email is on the actual notice.
Okay. It's easy to find.
Yeah.
There's some of your locations that you've been. We've done stories in
Yeah.
just
Oh,
about every
yeah,
one of them.
I bet you have.
We started up with Ellen Allen up on City Hall,
Yeah.
and then Jane Roop and what's now the funeral home, and then your brief
Yeah.
sojourn to Saley Avenue.
Oh.
And, yeah.
Yeah, and we've outgrown even this building now. You know, we should start a capital campaign to add, but seeing as we're in a historic district, it's, you
Yeah,
know,
you
it's
can't.
hard to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. This lady was the last widow of the Civil War veteran in Clinton County. She lived in Demarest.
And this was in 1954. She passed away. Is that what it's saying?
Yeah.
Eunice Dowd, home of her son Harry Dowd of Demarest.
Yeah. For our Museum Days weekend, we give out passports every year to the museums in the county. And people can go to the museums and get their passports stamped. And this lady took her little boy to most of the museums in Clinton County. And when we picked the winner, here he was.
There he was.
Yeah, and he came in and he got his prize.
Oh, there. A basket of goodies.
Yeah, and that basket came from the Lion Mountain Mining and Railroad and Mining Museum.
Uh-huh.
And there were a lot of nice stuff in there. Dinner at the Alley Out was one of them. This one caused a lot of concern too. People wrote in and told us what they were and what it wasn't. The lady thought it was an add-on that you can put on the top of your license plate, but it really was an actual license plate.
So is this a picture you found, or you don't have this license plate somewhere?
No, we don't have this license plate, but she found it and brought it in. She found it in Katie'ville. Her name's on there. I forget what her name is right now, but she found it.
Johanna Lapierre.
Right, nailed to a wall. Do you know her?
No, I'm just looking.
Oh,
I'm checking
nailed-
with Judy to make sure the picture's coming through okay
Yeah.
while you're talking.
Nailed to a wall in her barn outside, and her husband brought it in. And she brought her camera in and showed us the picture of it and gave us the picture.
Okay.
So there's always something turning up new in Clinton County to see.
All right. Well, before we start talking about this one, we're going to take a brief pause. All right, we had a little reflective light problem that Judy had to battle with besides trying to run the camera, so I thought we'd give her a little break there. There's August 16th, 1916, Plattsburgh Daily Press.
Yeah.
And again, if you go to that old newspaper site, I forget the Northern New York, I don't forget what they,
Library Network.
Library Network, you can find all this kind of stuff too. Now, obviously, the picture on, if out in a newspaper wouldn't
No,
be
this
this clear.
this
This is a picture that you guys had.
yes, this is a postcard that we had, and this is actually CCHA, our museum in the background, and they had a beautiful two-story porch, which we cannot afford to replicate, but this building was used for all kinds of things. It was used for the band for the 26th Infantry, and it was used as a post office and an admin building. It was all kinds of things.
Okay, so this is a photographer going around taking
Yeah,
pictures.
the building was actually dragged to this site by Carpenter Brothers with 6 horses.
Wow,
Yeah, this photography building, yeah.
okay.
That's a sad story. A father turned in his own son and told him that he wasn't allowed to stay at home anymore because he didn't want to go out and find a job, so he called the police and had him arrested. And by the end of the day, he had a job. Yeah.
Well, it's a
Yeah.
happy ending.
And he was living somewhere else. Yeah, this
All of a
is
sudden, he could find work.
Yes.
So it wasn't, this was what, 1930, so it isn't
oh
just,
yeah,
isn't just modern times
No,
where
no, no.
people don't want to work.
no, no.
Okay, what we got
Yeah,
here?
this is the Champlain Hospital and its destruction. It was taken down in 1979.
There's still a room or two left. I forget who's in there.
Oh, is that right? Yeah.
Champlain Valley Hospital.
The
yeah.
poor thing, and I think Carol Allen, who used to be the director here, her husband was the architect at the college, and it cost $378,000 for that to come down. Amazing.
Wow, that's when the, of course, Physicians Hospital and Champlain Valley
Oh,
Hospital
yeah.
merged and became
Yeah.
the CDPH.
Yeah, this is our new program, actually brochure,
Okay.
and you can download it from the site. And
Okay.
This lady wrote this book about 10 Americans of Clinton County. And 10 Americans of Clinton County were black and mulatto people that came to live here in the early to mid 1800s, including the Tankard family, the Clark family, the Crabtree family in Ellenburg, and I'm going to be talking about the 10 Americans of Clinton County in the Ellenburg High School on April 19th at 5 o'clock, so if anybody's interested.
All right.
Next.
Bring your suntan lotion. Of course, you probably don't tan at all, do you?
I turn red.
Yeah.
I go from this to red.
You burn. You're like
Yeah,
my old buddy Bob Venn used to burn.
yeah,
You never got a tan.
yeah. This is, we lend out all kinds of stuff. This is the CCC Camp. This is where they actually lived when they were in Plattsburgh. It was right across the street here, on the footprint of the old PAF, Plattsburgh Air Force Base Hospital.
Okay, and it's the second back up there.
Mhm.
Don't be so
I will.
fast there. Well, you got fast fingers there.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, Julie.
Quick draw.
It's the second time we've used that CCC. Now, people might be sitting there saying Clinton Community College?
Yes. Yeah, in the 1930s, CCC was Civilian Conservation Corps. And funnily enough, a couple of weeks ago, they're doing new construction over there,
Uh-huh.
and this man was digging up bottles and all kinds of stuff from that era. And I happened to notice it on Facebook, and I mentioned that there was an old CCC camp over there. I said, bring this stuff over and we'll take a look at it. So he's going to do that. Yeah. That's amazing, though, isn't it?
Yeah. No, well, there was a book put out on the Conservation Corps there a couple
Yeah,
years ago.
yeah,
It's very interesting.
Yeah. Marty Podscotch, I think his
Right.
name was.
Your memory's better than
Yeah,
mine.
we have his book downstairs. Very interesting. I forget what this is. Oh, we hosted a bunch of people from senior scholars,
Okay.
and we gave them a talk about Redford glass and what else? Suffrage downstairs, I think. We give a lot of people this briefly told book. It was by Alan Everest, so it's always in our gift packages. This is just a picture of Tulaski's store in Lion Mountain from one of our glass plate negatives. So when we blew up little pieces of it,
Uh-huh.
there he is right there. And the gas price is like 18 cents. And these glass plate negatives are so great. You can blow them up to, a fairly good size, and still the quality remains clear.
Yeah, it's amazing the sharpness that they have.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Roger Black has done there it is, right there.
Oh, there you go.
And there's Tulaski right there.
Now, it almost looks like there's a TOL apostrophe O,
Yeah.
doesn't it? It looks
But yeah, the family was from Lion Mountain,
yeah.
and he came down here. I guess he didn't want to work in the mines, but he was pretty successful. And this is right opposite the guard tower, one of the guard towers at the prison. And when you go to
Oh, you can see the
Dannemora,
reflection in the
Yeah.
window, yeah.
when you go to Dannemora, it was right opposite that main gate that is
Mhm.
now blocked up. Yeah. So when you look across the road, the poor building now is, not in as good shape as it was there.
It didn't, I know there's a couple of, one particularly large building there that the news media always managed to get in the background that made the Dannemora look bad because,
Yeah, there's one further up the street, was Ting's, right?
I'm not sure what
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah.
But there's a building that's just not in good shape right now that they kept standing in front of, and I just thought it was,
Yeah.
you,
Makes us look good in the North
well,
Country.
people should know better than that, but they didn't, so,
No, that wasn't the tack they wanted to take.
no.
No. This was down by Mickey's. Mickey's restaurant is right here. This house is still there, and the restaurant is still there. It was a secondhand store. It is a secondhand store right now, but it was a garage, and it was
Okay.
the most modern garage in Clinton County at the time. And they had all kinds of promotions, and this is one of the promotions. They would give away this little thing that you could screw onto your car, And I like this. This is a pile of tires that somebody put over. It looks like a telephone pole.
Totem pole.
And there's somebody sitting right on the top. We have a lot of pictures of this garage from different angles for some reason or other.
Yeah, obviously it had to be a pole there, because those tires wouldn't stay there unless there was an actual
You
pole in the
imagine
ground.
that.
But, yeah.
But this house looks almost exactly the same, except they have covered in the porch.
Okay,
Yeah, and this is pizza place.
1931 picture.
Yeah.
Okay. Nash was the owner. Okay, again, we're not gonna look at every one.
Yeah. This was the college until the 60s. Brinkerhoff Street used to go right through the college campus.
Yeah,
Amazing.
a lot of controversy when
There
they
was a-
started
yeah,
condemning
there was a-
homes to,
Yeah, garage right here on the corner of, forget what the name of that street is. And
a lot of the homes were moved, but
oh, they were? Yeah,
Some,
I wasn't here at that time. I remember this gas station here, or this gas station here, but I don't remember before that. I only came here in '68. Oh, there you are. You're the historian of the place.
oh, okay.
Yeah,
All right, moving right along.
yeah. 1929, the fire at the normal school. Yeah, it's a shame.
Yeah, and that's, we did a story with, I can't remember he's recently retired, I think, but anyway. One of the things that disappeared after that fire was a big fountain that was there that they had pictures of, and after the fire it disappeared, so nobody
Yeah.
knows where it went to.
Yeah, another thing that disappeared in that fire was Dr. David Kellogg's collection of Native American artifacts.
Oh,
He had a bunch of them in this building, but he'd already sent a lot of his stuff to Dartmouth, I think, for the college down there. Talk. This is Booth. Kit
Marion,
Booth's grandmother.
Kit's
Kit Booth's
great aunt.
Yeah, this is his aunt, and this is his grandmother.
Okay, Marion Dot Parkhurst.
This woman was a heavy-duty
Grandmother.
suffragist and was one of the first women hired by the Defense Department in World War I. Amazing woman. And he actually remembers her because she used to live with the family. School districts in Peru. What was that? Oh, there was a fire at a house caused by this
Range-
little
a
valve
range-
here backing up.
A range exploding.
Yes,
Wow.
the old days. Bridge Street today and yesteryear.
Mm-hmm.
2 days closed. We got to thank Roger Harwood for looking after Crab Island.
He certainly adopted that island, doesn't
Oh, so
he?
much
Along
work.
with Valcor, the work that
Oh,
he's done on the Crab Island and Valcor is amazing.
unbelievable. Yeah, he and Pat Parker helps out too. Geez, we've had 3 closed days because of
wanna
the
know when
snow
they're-
this year.
Now,
Are we ever open?
you can go through there and delete those, you know. Okay,
Hazard.
hazard, yeah.
Yeah.
What you live?
Well, these are stove things again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, hazard of the season.
Yeah, the poor thing.
Yeah, Shazy Lake House, Shazy Lake. See, we get people
Yeah.
that listen from Shazy Lake.
Yeah.
They want to hear about that. George Badger, proprietor, was totally destroyed by fire Wednesday afternoon, 1919.
Yeah. The fire departments came from Lion Mountain, but you know, when the buildings are made with wood.
Yeah, well, you know, we tend to look back and say years and years ago we lost so much, but you know, I drive through Champlain and Rouse's Point, and you know, so many of the buildings there that we've lost in the past couple of decades due to fire. The
Oh, yeah.
Hotel Holland, the Saxony, of course, the Anchorage is burnt twice.
Yeah.
The Champlain Hotel in Champlain, the Savoy Hotel. There's just so many places that have just disappeared over the years.
Yeah.
So it's not just back in the 1800s,
Yeah.
in early 1900s.
Sometimes it's a shame, sometimes it isn't. Yeah.
Oh, all those were a
This is
shame.
the school that Clinton County used to send kids who were vagrant, or whose parents didn't want them, or who were misbehaving in the Plattsburgh area.
So where was
And
this?
it's still going, it's in Albany, I think, Troy maybe,
Oh, good, that's in the Seymour part, probably.
yeah.
So we used to send our delinquents down there.
Our
This is in
delinquents.
1902.
Yeah, oh yeah, and the place is still going today,
Wow.
under the same auspices.
And you had a display at the county center, is this what it is?
Yeah, it's in the mall, I don't know if it's still up.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, this is a favorite of a lot of people, the Granges, which are almost all gone now. We went to a history conference last fall, and there are some Granges. We sat with a lady whose Grange is very, very active, but up here we don't have any more Granges in Clinton County. I remember the one in Ellenburg. You got any Granges left in?
No, the
Champlain.
Grange Hall is on the corner of Cedar Street and Church Street,
Yeah.
the former Grange Hall.
Yeah,
But in today's paper, in Wadhams, it's down in Essex County. No, that sounds like it's out the other way. Waylandsburg, excuse me,
Waylandsburg, yeah,
Waylandsburg
they
Grange
have a
is in the
very
news.
active Grange. Lovely stuff, but they start their talks. They have very interesting talks, but they don't start their talks until 7:30 at night. So
Well, that's
it's hard
half an
for
hour
us
before
to.
you get to bed.
I know, I
Yeah.
always go to bed at 7. There you go.
All right, Plattsburgh Sentinel and Clinton County Farmer, January 22nd. It's Judy's birthday, 1904. Fire in Rouse's Point. A Presbyterian church burned during the night.
Pretty little church.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is-
Peasleeville.
Yeah. There's a legend that goes with this Peasleeville church. This church was taken down piece by piece from Redford, from the man that owned the town, more or less, Mr. Lane. And in the church he had a collection of Redford glass bells that would ring in the tower.
Wow.
And somewhere between Redford
In
and
Peasleeville.
Peasleeville,
They disappeared?
they did. And so if anybody knows where those Redford glass bells are, we would like to know.
This was 1879, so it's it's a hot-
Maybe,
still
well,
a hot
maybe they're
topic.
tucked away someplace. You never know. They might be in the basement.
That's right.
Yeah,
What are those things?
Christmas. Advertising. We do every year an ornament. And the lady that wrote the book, Welcome to the Witherill, would like us to do the Witherill Hotel
Uh-huh.
as our next ornament.
Okay.
There's another then and now. All these motorcycles on Clinton Street. Doesn't Clinton Street look big?
Yes, well, of course, it's just the angle that you're
Yeah,
taking
yeah.
it from.
yeah,
Oh, motorcycle club right there.
yeah.
Early Hell's Angels right there on Clinton Street.
They don't look too much like Hell's Angels. These are a barn picture that we have. This is the picture of the Turner Mansion right behind my house. I look at this building every single day. It's falling apart. I'm so sad about it.
Is that the carriage house?
Carriage house, yeah. And apparently you can do with it as you will, even if it's on the historic register, which it is. And it's called demolition by neglect. So if you own a historic building and it's on the historic register, you can let it go. And the people that owned it before this, he was from Montreal, he died of cancer, and he had people who knew how to do slate roofs and brick workers and people like that who were gonna come down and restore the building. There's fireplaces and everything in there.
Well,
And he died, so
well, I'd suggest you buy it and fix it up then. Moving right along.
yeah, moving right along. You probably have $1 million in your pocket, yeah. But isn't that a shame?
Yeah, well, you
Yeah.
know, if you can't afford to fix it, you can't afford to fix
Yeah,
it.
yeah. This is an interesting story. This woman's name is Chloe, and we were looking at our daguerreotype collection, and we opened it up. We took away the gold part from the back of the picture, and inside it said, "This is Chloe. She was a servant for
Not anymore.
General P.T.G. Beauregard from the."
Oh, so this person called to see if you had a picture of one
Yes.
of those slaves, but,
Yeah.
oh, so this is
So she's
Beauregard.
General Beauregard's slave.
Huh, now this William.
Or actually, it said servant in the book.
Yeah.
But Robin Caudell from the newspaper happened to be here, and she's going to do a story and more research on this lady. But I called the P.T.G. Beauregard Museum in New Orleans. They weren't really interested.
No, they don't care. What's another slave when you're in New Orleans? Yeah, yeah.
I was
would
kind
say
of
there's not-
upset.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would say that, finding photos of slaves is kind of unusual,
Yeah, especially around here. Yeah.
Well, yeah, of course, because we didn't have many slaves.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, people took pictures of their family. They weren't interested in taking pictures of
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
slaves. So this is it's quite a.
It's really, there's a little teeny scrap of paper that was in the back there. It fell out. We almost passed out.
Wow. That was from the McClellan collection?
Yeah.
Okay, Dewey Steamer, tea and coffee.
Well, these are just odds and ends of things that we put up.
Uh-huh.
This is a whole collection on,
Stamp.
yeah, on one post. We just wanted to show stuff that we have at the museum that doesn't get put out very
Oh,
often,
you
you know?
can't. Did you put it? You couldn't possibly put everything
Have
out.
to be changing it all the time. I like this. A lot of people remember Austin's. Ron and Carol, or Ron Allen used to work at Austin's.
Okay.
Yeah,
True historian.
on Margaret Street,
a-
yeah,
A sponge for your hat. That's what that was.
yeah.
This building was torn down in 1949. To build which building? 1, 2, or 3? Oh, it's a quiz?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. I don't take quizzes.
You don't take quizzes? Well, actually, it was the fire station, which is now on the property. People loved this post because it had to do with the people who actually were in the picture. Sometimes we get pictures with names on the back.
1903, 1904 in the village of Moores
Mhm.
on Route 11.
Yeah.
1 mile west of the village of Moores.
Yeah. So it's between Moores and Moores Forks, but all of the names of all the kids and the teachers, and the teacher.
Garin, Narrow, Millark, Curtis, Bouchard, Chandler, Garin, Soden was a teacher, Pratt, another Garin, Millark, Vachereau, Pratt. Yeah, most of these schools had a lot of the same last names because everybody had.
Oh yeah, 8 or 10 kids at one time.
Right. 1949 grand opening,
Yeah, that's on Oak Street.
Pontiac and Packard,
Looks a little different now.
John Todd. That's where, Oak and what?
Mhm.
6 Oak?
It's right across the street from, is it Holcomb Abstracts maybe?
Okay.
There's that little kid again. That was the day he submitted his thing.
You knew he was gonna win, didn't you?
Yeah,
It's
at
fixed.
Christmas we picked his name,
Okay,
Montreal. I'm so glad this happened.
they refurbished that marker.
Yeah, yeah. For years people would come to us and say, "Have you seen the marker, for Robinson's Tavern?" People have a great affinity for Robinson's Tavern. And, I forget the name of the people, not Pelkey.
Velma and Francis Perrier.
Perrier, that, it might have been Steve that actually had it refurbished. It's wonderful, but the poor building is so far gone now that, I don't think you can do anything with
No,
it.
it's just,
It's
it's
filled
like
with trees and covered with vines. In the summertime, it looks like just a clump of trees.
Yeah, that's on the military turnpike.
Right, right.
Hell.
Yeah, but the original Robinson Tavern was across the street, built across the street.
Yep. And visited in 1817 by President James Monroe.
Yeah.
And of course, that road, military turnpike, was built as a military turnpike.
Yeah, yeah. We did a post about Sackett's Harbor on another one of our Facebook pages, and the buildings at Sackett's Harbor are almost exactly the same as the ones around the Oval here. This Francois d'Avignon was a surgeon for the 96th Infantry, and he escaped from the British 3 times in the 1830s and finally came across the border and settled in Sable Forks. Totally amazing. But he served his time, and he was captured and put into Libby prison, where he serviced the sick and dying men, and they told him not to, and he said, you know, this
Yeah.
is what I am. I'm a
Yeah.
doctor. I got to do it. So that's what he did. Settlers out in Morrow County. New York State History Month. Hutchins Cemetery in Ellenburg. I wish more people would join AFNIS. AFNIS is the Association of Public Historians of New York State, and you're eligible to join if you're a civic historian. And we're in Region 6. And Helen Nurska, the director here, and I usually go to the conferences that they have. This year it's in Syracuse again. Yeah. Great Clinton County story. We had a wonderful crowd for James Carson, who wrote this book in Saranac. Not in Saranac, he didn't write the book in Saranac, but we had a wonderful conference in Saranac that Jan Kuchar, the historian, put together. And it's a story of the 16th Cavalry and the volunteers, several of whom were from around here, who actually captured John Wilkes Booth.
Yeah, Gordy and I did a story with, might have been this author. I know we did a story with somebody that has an expert on this whole story, and it's just amazing.
Oh, yeah, and people don't know about it, you know.
Yeah.
And we put markers on all their graves. We thought that was wonderful. There's Rich Frost, and he went to sell his books. We were in, where were we?
Newcomb?
Newcomb, New York. And they had also invited this man here, who was a Teddy Roosevelt reenactor. He was the same one that was at the Battle of Plattsburgh weekend a few years ago now. But he and Rich got along very, very well. I thought that was great. But he does kind of look like Teddy Roosevelt.
Yeah,
I mean,
he
he
does.
makes himself look like Teddy Roosevelt.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he was very blustery and boisterous. And
Well, he's got to play the part.
oh yeah, bully. He kept saying bully. It's from the Oval last year. You know, we do a lot of things at CCHA. And we try to include things from all over the county. And
This is a little bit outside the county.
yeah,
John Brown
that
Farm,
one.
but-
Yeah, but it was the 26th Infantry from here who went up and played at John Brown's farm. So there was the connection.
Okay, there we Well, I don't think it's your mission here to
Oh yeah.
retain and promote the
Oh yeah.
Clinton County history, but you can't ignore what happened
Oh no, we're not in a
Chateauguay
vacuum.
or Lake Placid
Yeah.
or Hemingford or whatever,
Yeah. Here's Jerry Favreau, our president, and Bill Laundrie, our treasurer. On the street drive, we have an annual street drive the last weekend in August usually, and it's a good fundraiser for us. Oh, there's our new steps we just had put up.
That's right, the others were.
Bill and Helen, oh yeah. The lighthouse, if you get a chance to go out to the lighthouse, and we're sponsoring 2 tours this summer with Mick Maynard,
This is Valcour you're talking about?
Yeah, Valcour Island, the Bluff Point Lighthouse, and this is a picture of the light inside the top of the lighthouse. The Fresnel lenses, they're absolutely amazing. And you can actually climb to this and walk around the top of the lighthouse and take pictures. The views are spectacular. And we haven't totally got it all organized. I think it's going to be $25 per person to be taken out there by Mick Maynard. And you get a book and the Valcour Island walking tour, and a brochure, and a trip to the island for $25, and also back from
Oh,
the
yeah.
island.
I was going to ask for a round
Yeah,
trip.
yeah.
$25 to get there,
Yeah,
$50 if
yes,
you want to
yeah.
come back.
He can take 5 people at a time, and he can do 2 trips per hour. So if you're among the lucky, 55 people or so that can go, you have to make a reservation, and there'll be more information coming out later on. But yeah,
Now, you have a website besides the Facebook page?
we do. The website is under construction, but you can go to it, www.clintoncountyhistorical.org, and the lady has redirected it to our old website for the time being.
So it's under construction.
It's Jill Jones that's redoing our old website. And so we're
It's
still
the
feeding
bloated-
her
It's the bloated toe,
from
Jill
Bloated
Jones?
Toe, yeah. And she's doing a great job, but we have to keep feeding her information because she doesn't know everything about the museum, and she gradually adds it, and, you know.
So there are orange pylons on the site?
Yeah.
Proceed with caution?
Proceed with caution. There's another one. This is a 360-degree view.
Okay, if you're joining us late here, we're talking with Julie Dowd. We're at the Clinton County Historical Association Museum. We're going to talk with her a few more minutes here. We're looking at their Facebook page just to give folks out there an idea. Now, you said there's other Facebook pages too?
Yes, we do have other Facebook pages.
All right, well, we
The other
pause-
Facebook, okay.
pause this one and we'll pick up on another, unless there's something coming up real soon
No.
that you wanted to cover here.
No, this is our next Facebook page here.
Oh, you got it already?
Yeah.
We're still going to take a pause. Moving right along, just for the click of our fingers, we went from that page to the Clinton County, New York Civil War Record 1861 to 1865 Facebook page. Julie, bring your Clinton County, New York Civil War Record. What does that say?
Oh,
Team
that's
together.
that's a message from Facebook.
Get your team
There
together.
you go. Disappeared it.
Hide that net message. Facebook trying to tell you to get organized.
Yeah, this is what you see behind the scenes. All you see is the posts. But we've got about 600 and something people that look at this, that follow us.
Uh-huh.
But we have regulars that, you know, get up in the morning and must look for us because, whoops, did I go past the picture part? Whoops. Sorry. This lady sent in a picture of a video of one of the Blackmans in her family from Morris Forks,
Mm-hmm.
and she actually bought a replacement Civil War headstone from the government and went down to Florida. And these people, I think, are those VFW or Legion? They actually installed the new headstone and had a little ceremony and everything. She was so happy about that. Her name is Stevenson. Sorry, Colin.
That's all right.
This is one we put on recently. A lot of people from here joined the Army Engineers for some reason or other, just because I suppose they could. And what we do is we this is a companion, like I said, to our Civil War book. Every day we take a soldier, or every day that we possibly can, we take a soldier and put them on the site. And it's nice to see a little vignette about, you know, the history of the regiment and the actual soldiers. A lot of them were only in the military for maybe 15 minutes, especially the 18-year-olds towards the end of the war. The 192nd Regiment that was organized in Plattsburgh is filled with very, very young men and very, men over the age of 40 who wanted to get into the military. So, yeah.
Okay, this particular story is about people from Moores and Morris Forks, and so it's all local. If you're interested in Clinton County, then
Yeah. In fact, my granddaughter gets on this every day. This is one about a soldier who was returned to New York City, and he died there, and instead of his family bringing him home, he's buried in the Civil War cemetery in Brooklyn.
again, he's out of, and its name is Favreau, but it's instead of the usual two ways we see it spelled up here, Favro and Favreau. This is Favrow,
Yeah.
out of Moores, and mentioned other people from Champlain, Chazy, Dannemora. So a few years back, when we were looking at the 150th anniversary of the Civil War, we were able to do a lot of several stories with like Richard Moore, who had letters from
Oh, yeah.
people, and Dr. Southwick had some letters from James Lucas out of Perry's Mills, and
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah.
great history was dug up a few years back, and we're very fortunate
Oh,
that
yeah.
we were added to our knowledge of the.
Yeah, and that they still survive. We're forever getting more information. People send us pictures, and they actually donate items sometimes to us that we add to our Civil War collection. This Bennett place is famous because it was the place that General Johnson surrendered to General Sherman on April 26th, which is a couple of weeks after the official end of the war on April 9th. So,
Is that in Georgia,
North Carolina.
North Carolina?
Yeah,
So
mhm.
Sherman marched through North Carolina too.
Oh, yeah. That was the Carolina campaign. A lot of our men went to, cavalrymen, went to Louisiana. And many of them got sick and died of yellow fever down there. And including my kid's great whatever grandfather. So, but all Clinton County people were in most of the regiments. I think 139 of the regiments. This guy died on Hart Island, off the Bronx. Here's the Bronx. This is Long Island Sound over here. So they were all over the place. So many of them died. So many of them deserted. We had about a 20% deserter rate in Clinton County. Often, though, they turned up in other regiments later on after they got their bounty money. So, yeah. But you can see that they were in many of the big battles of the war. If we can find a gravestone for them, happens to be two brothers that died.
Jenks.
Yeah, they
Spoon
came
Lake.
from, yeah. Mhm. And if there's a battle, I try to put where they were actually fighting, what front they were on in the battle, so that people can get a feel of, oh my goodness, they were right in the thick of things, or, they were on the periphery, but
So you spend how many hours a day do you spend researching?
several.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
But when you don't have a life, you got a lot of time to do it. But yeah, if nothing's going on, I can sit there in my chair and do this.
well, that's the amazing thing. When we first got our computer 2 decades or more ago, just push a button and you could,
And it's right there.
you don't need the 32 volumes of encyclopedias anymore. It's right at your fingertips.
I know. It broke my heart to throw away my father's hard-earned set of Collier's Encyclopedia, but there you go.
It's,
Yeah. Yeah.
we've still got ours somewhere, but it's
Yeah,
just
no,
'cause
I just don't have room for it. Yeah, a lot of our soldiers are buried on not foreign ground, but in other states. This guy spent 20 years almost, or 15 years, in Maine or Rhode Island. And, where is that? The National Soldiers Home. His family couldn't look after him here, so he was sent there to be looked after.
So this is another page that you have that
Yeah.
people can peruse. That's, again, it's on Facebook.
Yeah,
And if your Facebook pages go back, you said up to 4 years of postings?
this one-
Maybe not this one
no,
here, but
yeah, yeah,
but the other first page we looked
yeah.
at.
But it's so interesting, you learn a lot just by doing the research, of course. This one here is the Old Base Museum campus page that we're trying to promote the Old Base as a destination. We have 5 museums within 500 feet. Not all of them are open all year round. CCHA is open all year round. But the War of 1812 Museum from May to October, the Plattsburgh Air Force Base Museum from May to October. Then we have the Champlain Valley Transportation Museum. That's open from May to October and also by appointment. And the Children's Learning Center, which is attached to the Champlain Valley Transportation Museum. And then we have 2 places that you can refresh yourselves. The Oval Craft Brewing, which is in the old fire station of the old base, and also the Balcourt Brewing Company in the Old Stone Barracks. And this is our logo for the Old Base Museum campus, sorry.
And of course, you're, just a stone's throw away from Route 9, so
Yeah,
you can go out there and go
we
to
do, and
Burger
we,
King or
right,
the sub shop or whatever. There's
Yeah.
places nearby that,
Right.
if you brought the kids, you don't necessarily want to go to a.
right. We put, I think there was like 15 maybe places that we advertised that you can go right here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is what we ask the people from the 118th to come and stand on the parade ground in front of the Old Stone Barracks like they did in 1862. Here's the Old Stone Barracks, of course.
Yeah, so that's what we pretty much started with, was the 118th, because not everybody watched this from the beginning. I know we like to think that people have seen this from start to finish, but so those who were with us at the beginning, the 118th out of this area, but is now highlighted out of the Ogdensburg area. They might be coming here sometime in the future.
Hopefully, I'd love to see them
Reenactors.
here. Can you imagine a big colored picture and the beautiful flowers on the Old Stone Barracks? Oh my, I can see it all now. This is the star of the War of 1812 Museum, which is the Battle of Lake Champlain by, I think, Julian Davidson, who died at 41 years of age after having a career of painting Navy battles. He also did the Battle of Lake Erie. Oops.
Yeah, it's too bad that never materialized. Dean Mosher did a lot of work, and we're hoping to have a new painting done, but financing never
No.
really materialized, and that guy put a lot of effort, a lot
He
of time
did.
and work into, and his work, as he looked to make that painting, make it look authentic, brought up a lot of history. And of course, Frank Papps was still around at the time, and the
Yes.
Confiance anchor had just been brought up,
Oh.
and just, so,
Yeah, the whole history of that took a right turn when Frank Papps died, I'll tell you.
yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of people have done a lot of effort into promoting and expanding the knowledge we have of that time period, and now, more recently the Civil War, and now even you're looking at the First World War, right?
Yeah, this is the First World War. This, if you think it's not correct, this is what we would call the headquarters building right here. But over here, there was another barracks that burned in the 1970s, which is a twin to the building that the city court is in now.
It's huge.
Huge, yeah, huge. Yeah. and this is when we looked at, oh goodness gracious, Sackett's Harbor. They have an oval. This is Sackett's Harbor, New York.
Oh,
And this is the Officers Row. They've only got 6 or 7 houses on Officers Row. This is a twin to CCHA, but it's not in good shape at all out there. This is also a picture of the duplexes that they have out there.
so yeah. the
Yeah, it looks just the same.
The military isn't gonna reinvent
Yeah.
what a
And
base
this-
should look like every time.
Right, this is one quarter of the old stone barracks out there without the porch. It's exactly the same plan, but without the porch, and that's also falling down. You can see the roof is crumbling right here, and they have a cemetery like we do, but it's so strange to see a twin
Yeah, you're like,
to our building right here. Yeah.
like you're in another dimension.
Yeah.
One of those
Yeah,
science fiction
but they're right
stories.
on the edge of Lake Ontario, and here's the footprint of that other big building that was there that burned.
Okay, this is on our
Yeah,
site
this
here.
is our
Yeah,
site
we're back-
here.
We're back
Yeah.
here in Plattsburgh.
Yeah,
now.
we're back in Plattsburgh. Time traveler,
Yeah,
there's
this-
CCHA,
Julie just travels from Sackett's Harbor to Plattsburgh in
Yeah.
a split second, so
yeah,
side,
Champlain Valley, this is the kids' station, there's the Oval Craft Brewery, there's the Air Force Base Museum.
Okay.
There's the big headquarters building, so it's
Yeah.
interesting to see.
yeah.
And not all the buildings on Officers Row that we have here are the same. For instance, this one here does not have windows in the top. And this has a wraparound porch, whereas a lot of them have the porch that just, goes to here.
Right,
Yeah, so it's interesting. We have a lot of people that walk on the base, and it's exactly a mile around the oval.
is it?
Yeah.
Exactly a mile.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. So, and we often tell them, and this is something that blows my mind, the oval is bigger than the footprint of Andersonville Prison that many of our Clinton County Civil War soldiers ended up in. Have you been to Andersonville?
No,
Yeah. Totally amazing to me. This is like 40 acres, and Andersonville is 36.5. All those people, 35,000 people in there.
wow,
Yeah. But anyway,
Those
that's
dimes.
history that should not have happened.
yeah.
This is President Coolidge coming
What-
onto the base.
What was his first name?
You're named after him?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, you were?
He's my great uncle, yeah.
Was he really? No, he wasn't. But anyway, you silly person. This is the 26th standing, waiting for the cars to go by. This is I forget the name of the car. Can you see it right there?
I don't know if it mentions the name of the car.
And this is the building that's now an apartment building at the end of the oval. They're coming in through the commander's entrance, which is on the west side near the Fort Brown. And here's where the commander's house was, but, yeah.
Oh yeah, lots of presidents visited these
Yeah.
grounds over the years.
Yeah, here's the building that I was just talking about.
Okay. Well, obviously, as you can see, we can go on, and the nice part about this is people watching this can sit there in their comfort of their home and go to, you got, the 3 sites you said? The old base museum campus,
Right?
then you got the Civil War,
Yeah,
and then the regular CCHA, Clinton County Historical Association Museum Facebook page.
yeah.
So all this history is available to you at the touch of a button, and that's what we wanted to let people know about. I'm sure, as you know, because you've got so many followers,
Yeah,
that when you put up a picture of a bar, you got 7,000 people that follow it. Well, there might be some others out there that aren't aware of it, so that's why we're here today. And you told the folks downstairs you'd be gone an hour. That was 2 hours ago.
oh
so-
my, is that right? Yeah.
So we better get down
Thank
there.
you for coming.
So we appreciate Julie taking almost 2 hours here.
Oh,
of her day on this March 28th, 2018. The time marches on. Anything else that we need to know before
Well,
we...
I just wanted to mention this one is interesting. Before he died, Terry Schmaltz, the owner of the Old Stone Barracks,
Right?
showed us what was in the powder magazine. And this is the roof inside the powder magazine. Isn't it gorgeous? It's just beautiful. And down here, there you can still see the barrel marks on the floor, the powder barrels right here on the floor. So it's that right there. And somebody wrote in who had been in the Intel office when Plattsburgh Air Force Base was here. And he said the commanding officer gave him this building right here to use as their oversized evidence locker. So if they had something big that they couldn't keep in their office, which is now Neil Facet's office, they would put it in that powder magazine. So
wow.
interesting. So
Yeah.
much stuff to learn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and every once in a while something, discover something new.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I
great.
forget what he pulled out there. He showed Gordy and I when we talked to them when they were in the construction phase.
Yeah.
I think it was maps and drawings of different things. I think they included some of the missile bases. I'm trying to remember, but yeah, it's just amazing what some of the stuff they found in there.
Oh, yeah. Gorgeous. Yeah.
So you can learn all this and more if you visit these pages. And again, we want to thank Julie for taking 2 hours out of her day, and thank Judy for running the camera, and thanks for watching and supporting. There's a few people that support us, and we want to thank them for supporting Hometown Cable, making all this programming possible. Thanks for watching.